Hi, everyone. It's Mary Esther Gilbert back again to share some more true health mastery information to help humanity improve their health. And today I'm going to be going over this amazing herb called cilantro. This is one of the 109 botanicals that I have done some scientific research for and put in my book, Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. And so back when I was teaching college, I had my students look up the herb cilantro, and this was during class time. And so they all shared what information they found in the scientific, archives on cilantro. So when they read out all of the health benefits, the students were shocked and amazed. And so you can bet that they all went out and started eating cilantro. And so I find that when I educate people about what's inside the foods that they eat and the health benefits, all evidence-based and all also based on, hundreds or even thousands of years of indigenous use and careful, meticulously documented to pass down from generation to generation. So the healers of the world, the herbalists of the world, the nutritional healing specialists of the world in the past have been vindicated because, a couple of hundred years ago, the scientific community started looking at botanicals on a different light and really delving into, what exactly makes the plant kingdom so healthy for people. And of course, we do have to include the other components of a healthy diet. But I have found in my last 45 years of delving into the scientific research and putting together nutritional protocols for my clients that they will get well from all manner of ailments. And so when you combine different varieties of foods together, and those foods are in their whole food form, and they contain all of the full range of vitamins and minerals and phytonutrient compounds that have been found to be so beneficial and so varied and so complex in the plant food kingdom. So tonight I'd like to just read to you an excerpt, scientific monograph on cilantro that I compiled, looking at peer-reviewed studies and just putting it into a more concise form for the reader so that they don't have to go out and look at hundreds of scientific journals the way I did in compiling this book. Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce to you the health benefits of this very popular herb that different ethnicities from around the world have used in their foods. So cilantro is used in the Chinese cultures and probably a lot of the other Asian cultures. And probably, I know that they're used in the Indian cultures, in India, and used in the United States, the south of the border. The Latin American countries have always used cilantro also. So, it's not something that's indigenous to any particular region of the world. It's been shared and information about it has been spread. Recipes have been shared all over the world. So there's some really amazing foods that you can put together using this herb. So cilantro has been used by human beings for about 8,000 years, according to the literature. It was found in the ancient Egyptian tomb of Tutankhamun and is thought to likely predate human recorded history. It grows wild and grown as a cultivar in Asian areas like Bangladesh and China, in India and Pakistan, Central America, and in Central and Eastern Europe, including the Mediterranean areas of Malta and Morocco. In animal studies, in using mice and rats, cilantro was found to have anti-epileptic, anti-convulsant properties through its potassium KCNQ channel activations on cell receptor sites, where the dysfunction of this channel sitting on the receptor site activator can cause severe epileptic encephalopathies or damage or disease affecting the brain that are resistant to modern anticonvulsant drugs. So it's all about how things that we put into our body affect the very distinguishing cell receptor sites of our trillions of cells. So sitting on the cell membranes are specific molecules that sit there on the membrane that determine what is allowed to be entered into the cell environment. So, over hundreds of years, or at least the last 200 years or so, and in particular in the last few decades, there has been more and more research done on exactly what these cell receptor sites contain and how they decipher the information that's arriving there through the circulatory system. So when we digest foods and the micronutrients at their most fundamental basic components are allowed through the cell membranes, then that is when the body determines how it's going to use those nutrients. So this is what the group of scientists have found in the rodents that they tested the cilantro on. Also, the long-chain fatty aldehydes, or the E2-dodecanol in cilantro, activates the many potassium channels responsible for regulating electrical actions in the brain and heart and averting convulsions in epilepsy. So they're starting to relate to you how exactly further explain how they work at the cell receptor sites. So they're talking about the potassium channels that are sitting on the cell receptor sites. Findings of cilantro's protective health properties include being an antibacterial, anti-cancer, anticonvulsant, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and is cardioprotective, or protects the heart function, and analgesic, and effective for gastric or stomach health. So these are a wide range of studies that have been done over time that the peer review panel has gathered all of the different studies that have been done on just about anything that science has studied. So in this case, it's the cilantro. So I found a lot of different studies that were done. So this is a condensed version of helping the reader understand, just really summarizing what all of these scientists over time have found. Other KCNQ complexes help promote proper digestion in the gastrointestinal tract, including conditions in the duodenum and colon, and improve motility disorders such as in diabetic gastroparesis, which is when the stomach has trouble clearing out its contents due to damaged stomach muscles. Also used for anorexia, diarrhea, dyspepsia, flatulence, pain, and vomiting. Also, among other phytochemical compounds, cilantro contains important antioxidant flavonoids, which are important for building the flexibility and pliability of the blood vessel cells. Also contains a class of compounds called phenolic acids and polyphenols, which include camphorol, quercetin, vanillic acid, p-coumaric acid, and cis-ferulic acid, and trans-ferulic acid, caffeic acid, protocaffeinic acid, and glycine. So these are just one of the few of the thousands of compounds that are found in the plant kingdom that have been found to be so beneficial. Now, in this same book, I have a whole database of what these phytonutrient compounds do for the body. So not only do I mention them here in the scientific monographs of each botanical, but also in the further sections of the book, I list all of these different phytonutrient compounds and their classifications and what the science says or has been found about these compounds. Further research has isolated other beneficial phytochemicals from coriander leaves, photoactive furoicosoucoumurins, coriandrin, and dihydrocoriandrin. Okay, so we really have to break those long terms apart. And I've been, exposed to these terms for 45 years, so you'd think that I'd be able to rattle them off very quickly. But however, every time I do research on something, I discover more and more. So they're so long, you can't just at a glance, unless you're working with these compounds every single day in the laboratory, it really takes a little bit of attention to break down the pronunciation of these terms or these phytochemical compounds. Leaves have been applied externally as an ointment for arthritis and rheumatism, coughs, and other inflammation. So you can, make a tincture out of them. You can just infuse them and use it as a cough, concoction, or you can put them in a salve kind of medium, like an oil, to infuse the medicinal properties from the or the essential oils from the leaves for different health ailments topically. So arthritis, rheumatism, you can apply the salve that's been infused with cilantro on different areas of the body to ease pain and inflammation from the outside. However, when you take in a medicinal plant, or let food be your medicine, medicine be your food plant, like the cilantro, it has all the compounds that the body needs at the microcell level. So a lot of times it's best to just ingest these edible, wonderful medicinal plant foods that are so flavorful and add so much to the to your food intake and how your food tastes, So yeah, it's really great that they go to work and do a lot of repair and detoxifying and cleansing and reducing of inflammation, neutralizing the free radicals or molecules that don't belong in the body. And that's a full range of different things. It could be synthetic chemicals. It could be stress reaction, biochemicals. So there's a lot of things that are called, just these free radicals. So basically, these free radicals are missing electrons in their orbitals of their atomic and therefore molecular structures. So plant kingdom tends to just donate electrons in order to neutralize these free radicals, so the body can know better how to get rid of them rather than trying to constantly chase after them, with the immune system, trying to deactivate them and such. So it's easier just to donate electrons. If we don't eat the right foods, then our own live body tissues that contain these electrons have to donate to these free radicals to try to get rid of them. So it's best to not have to dip into our own stores of beneficial molecules that are being utilized to maintain our own health and optimize our metabolic systems. So further research has isolated other beneficial phytochemicals for coriander leaves. Okay, I just said that. I wanted to break those down for you, though. Let's go over those. So furoiso, that's the right way to say that, furoisocumarins, okay? Coriandrin, that's easier, and dihydrocoriandrin. So if you know your chemistry, you'll know why these segments of these words are written as such, so that it describes that molecule. So leaves have been applied externally as an ointment for arthritis and rheumatism, coughs, and other inflammation. The essential oil and aqueous extract of cilantro leaves and stems have demonstrated inhibitory properties by inducing cell damage on a variety of bacteria, including Bacillus ssp, Escherichia coli, Klebsiella pneumonia, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Proteus mirabilis, Salmonella choleraceus, Salmonella typhi, and Staphylococcus aureus. So these are illness-causing, very well-known illness-causing bacterium. So the cilantro leaf essential oil has also been effective against the yeast Candida albicans, Candida parapsilosis, and Candida dubliniensis. Dubliniensis. We have to look carefully at those terms. And also Candida krusei, or krusei. So essential oils of Candida sativum, Cilantro sativum, have compared favorably with standard antibiotics. So these biochemical properties that are in these herbs have been tested in comparison to how antibiotics work. So a lot of these very complex compounds that are present in these herbs actually have been shown to outperform antibiotics and without the yeast infection side effects. All right, so not being a medical doctor, I'm still kind of bound as to what I can assert and what I cannot assert. And so, but still, the science is very strong and has been around for a lot longer than our medical system. And also with the empirical evidence of indigenous peoples utilizing these herbs for many hundreds and thousands of years. So they've been shown to outperform a lot of these newer, or 200, how old is our medical system? About 200 years old now. So it's really in its infancy compared to the medical systems that humans have been using on this planet. So anyway, you know, just look up the science, show it to your medical doctor if you have a bacterial infection, and you know, do both. It doesn't hurt to take in an antibiotic that was derived from some kind of plant source anyway, or maybe synthetic. You know, a lot of times science has been able to duplicate somewhat the molecular structures of the plant kingdom, although it's not as complete and not as intricate and complex as with the plant kingdom. So, you know, if you think of plants as a multidimensional hologram, which basically what everything in this world is, then there's going to be a lot more complexities, more light energy frequencies going on in the atomic structures and subquantum energy levels of the plants. So, you know, and it's no comparison compared to the antibiotics. So antibiotics have been known to also outsmart a lot of these illness-causing bacteria. All right, but over time, it's yet to be found that plants have or these illness-causing bacteria have outsmarted the plant kingdom, and they have not. The plant kingdom is much more complex, and since plants are so compatible with the human body, our bodies are equally, if not more, complex. So again, as I've stated before in other videos, the plant kingdom at the cellular level is very, very similar to human cells. So we have the same components within the cells, the energy producing factories, the way the molecules are broken down and repurposed to produce energy, and the fat producing and protein producing and carbohydrate, you know, metabolic processes that go on within cells are the exact same things in plant cells. So we're very, very similar and very, very compatible to the plant kingdom. So let's see, where was I here? Essential oils of C. sativum have compared favorably with standard antibiotics, compared to synthetic antioxidants such as butylated hydroxyl anisole and butylated hydroxyl toluene that reportedly are damaging to DNA. And there you go, the simplistic versions of the plant kingdom that humankind has attempted to replicate or mimic in some way, but certainly not in a complete way, have its side effects. You know, if you look up on Medline any kind of medication you're taking, then it lists the side effects of what happens when you ingest something that is not compatible with the human body and not recognizable at the very discerning cell membrane sites where it's determined what is allowed to be used in the body and what isn't. So there's a whole cascade of side effects that's typical of, I've never seen any kind of prescription drug that I've looked up over the years that doesn't have very severe side effects or, you know, hazardous side effects. So it hasn't been found that to be true in the edible plants in the plant kingdom. From all the years of research, I've never uncovered anything that is seriously, you know, damaging like that. Sometimes when someone takes a particular plant and it's so concentrated in the diet, there might be something in a plant that can cause some kind of imbalance in the biochemistry. But once the plant is balanced with other foods, then that issue goes away, kind of thing. So plants are extremely complex, and they deserve to be well respected. But too much of a good thing, that's universally true for anything, can be bad for you. But as far as I've been able to tell in my research, the edible herbs that we eat and the edible, you know, fruits, vegetables, seeds, and raw nuts and seeds and that kind of thing is 99.9% safe to eat. But those who have digestive issues or cannot break down their foods, or their immune system is compromised and they cannot recognize a good molecule from something that is potentially harmful, sometimes the immune system gets confused and from what I have found over the years, when a person is missing certain essential nutrient factors in their diet over time, and of course, it's much more complex than that. There's other factors that play into why someone has an allergic reaction to a food, for instance. Then that needs to be evaluated, and that's where I come in. I've been helping people. I've done their nutritional assessments and nutritional evaluations, and we've come to the culprit. We zeroed down the problem, kind of thing, narrowed down the problem. So yeah, I mean, we are a very complex organism, and so the complexities of the plant kingdom, that's why we need to know what's in the food that we eat, what's going into our body, and how our bodies are going to react to it. And that's why I wrote this book. Okay, so everything in this book that I wrote, 109 scientific monographs of the 109 botanicals, list all of the health benefits and all of the scientific studies. There's over, I don't know, there must be 1,000 scientific research citations in this book, because I have always backed myself up with the scientific research. So, and then there's pseudoscientific studies, companies or other entities that have specific, reasons for influencing the outcome of their so-called scientific study. Those are never considered part of a peer-reviewed study. Peer-reviewed studies are just a panel of experts that gather all of the scientific research that's ever been done, and they weed out all of the non-credible studies, and then they summarize the best, most credible studies. Okay, so yeah, there's a process that you must go through when you are an expert in the field and are asked to write a review of all of the research that's been done on any particular item. So I've stuck to the peer-reviewed studies throughout the book, and in the citation list database that's in the book, it's going to, you'll know that it's all peer-reviewed studies. All right, so going right along here. All right, so it looks like, okay, I'll just go ahead and, I don't remember where I left off. I just got off on this tangent like I usually do, but I always feel like it's so important to fill in the gaps. And so that's why I love Q&As, because that way I can fill in the gaps a lot more in people's knowledge. All right, so compared to synthetic antioxidants such as butylated hydroxyl anisole and butylated hydroxyl toluene that are reportedly damaging to DNA, the natural antioxidant polyphenols and flavonoids in cilantro have attracted much attention for their anti-cancer and toxic chemical chelating properties, including lead poisoning. Clinical and experimental research shows that terpenoids, flavonoids, and phenolics are effective anti-diabetic, anti-hyperglycemic agents. So in other words, these particular phytonutrient compounds found in cilantro, the terpenoids, flavonoids, and phenolic classifications of compounds, there are many subclassifications. There's over 25,000 that's been found in the plant kingdom so far by science. So these are all effective against, for helping you regulate blood sugar and to prevent too much sugar in the blood kind of thing. So it helps attenuate blood sugar. So yeah, this is just pretty much a summarization of all of the scientific research that's been done on the plant cilantro. Isn't that wonderful? I find it so exciting to know exactly what these plants are doing in our bodies. I mean, you can become your own True Health Mastery expert on your own nutritional health. And that's my goal. This is my goal, to get all of the information consolidated into one place for people so that they have a reference, so they can look anything up when they want to decide on how to manage their health. So over the last 45 years, I've compiled nutritional protocols on this very thing, on this very process of gathering the data, presenting the data to my clients, and offering them any supplementation they might want to try. And so when they go ahead and start eating properly from my nutritional synergy foods system that I created many, many years ago, and have been using for all manner of ailments and corrective health, procedures, or for helping people decide and make better health choices for nourishing their bodies and recovering their health, or just detoxifying their system and just bringing their system back to homeostasis, biochemical balance. Then you put that all together, and voila, you've got a healthy, vibrant individual that goes on to make better choices in life, has better perspectives because their biochemistry is all balanced, their neurons are firing properly, their hormones are balanced, their immune system is stronger and keeping things in order in the body. And so, when you stop using a lot of unhealthy, what I call foodstuffs, foods that have been overly processed and foods that have been exposed to toxic pesticides, or maybe the DNA of those foods have been altered with other, other substances that don't belong in that particular DNA of that particular plant, and that have also been found to affect people, the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, or now called the bioengineered organisms, have been infused into some of the food supply. So I would just highly advocate that people choose organically grown foods and buy local whenever possible, so that you get to know the people growing your food, so you know what's going into your body. So that's a whole nother webinar that I did, and it's on my YouTube channel about why buy organic, the case for organic foods. So there's a lot of differences between organic and non-organic, including the medicinal foods like the cilantro. All right, so that's it for today. I really appreciate you being here. Please like, share, and subscribe this video so that more people can be exposed to this information that I have to offer humanity. I really would like to, expand this knowledge into our human population so that we have less ill people out there that are suffering unnecessarily because they just haven't been shown or have been exposed to the right information. All right, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, Mary Esther Gilbert, over and out. See you next time. Bye-bye.